Hello everyone, and welcome to today's Lifeboat Distribution webinar. Today we are going to discuss with a great pair of panelists from Veeam how to really take advantage of the Trade Up program to find new opportunities and really grow your sales for the best year-end close possible. My name is Don Grease. I am the Manager of Business Development and Vendor Programs here at Lifeboat Distribution, and it's been a while since I've hosted one of our webcasts. It's good to be back, and it's always a pleasure to host these webcasts because you are always such a great audience. Thank you for attending today. A lot of you may be familiar with Veeam's Trade Up program already, but I promise, we are about to share a lot of great information with you that will help you better position Veeam to your customers and make it easier to uncover fresh Veeam opportunities. Now, at this time, I would like to welcome our really great panelists. Joining me is Jennifer Robinson. Jennifer is the Competitive Marketing Manager for Veeam, and also joining me on the panel today is John Metzger, and John is the Senior Director of Product Marketing for Veeam. Welcome to you both, and thank you for being here with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, you're very welcome. This is going to be fun. But just before we get into this really great discussion, I do want to let everybody in the audience know that we really encourage your questions, and you can ask your questions by entering them in the Q&A panel on the right-hand side of the screen or through the chat panel. At the conclusion of the presentation, we will answer as many questions as time permits. We also will be popping up some polling questions along the way, so look out for those. We appreciate the feedback you give us on the polling questions. And before the end of the presentation today, before the end of the discussion, we are also going to give away a $100 Amex gift card to one lucky attendee. So we have a great team here today that can really help us all succeed bringing Veeam to market to our customers, and in particular with the Trade Up program. So without any further delay, let's get this conversation started. Hello, Jennifer.
Hi.
Hi. Well, since this webinar is about trading up a customer's current backup solution for Veeam Backup and Replication V7, I suppose the place to start is to really talk about why trading up to Veeam is a benefit to customers. So please talk to the resellers in our audience about how they should position Veeam against the customer's legacy solution and where these benefits start to show up for a customer.
Excellent. Yeah, if you could flip to the next slide. What we talk about with Veeam is the 3C problems of legacy backup. And what that means is that most end users, when they're using a backup solution, run into problems with missing capabilities, complexity, and cost. So at Veeam, what we're trying to do is solve those problems for our end users and create a solution that's not only powerful, but also easy to use and affordable. So that's what we're going to focus on today as far as how we're positioning Veeam against the competition.
Okay, well, let's talk about the approaches legacy providers typically take to perform backups. What backup methods, Jennifer, do you commonly see in use today?
Well, there are 4 methods, and at a 40,000-foot view, we can kind of bucket them into these 4 different methods of how the backup is actually done. And that would be the dinosaurs, the application poachers, replication racers, and imagers. And I use these terms with much affection.
Okay, that's great. Well, let's drill down a little bit on these methods then so we can really start to understand the important distinctions between them and Veeam Backup and Replication V7. Let's begin with the dinosaurs. What are they, and how should we compare and contrast with customers, Veeam versus what they do?
Yeah, and when you think of a typical legacy backup, this is what you're going to think of. They started out as a physical backup system, so they're not built around virtualization. They have a very mature product, so they've been around for at least 10 versions. Usually this is a bigger company, so backup is a very small piece what they do. One thing that you're going to see consistently is the need for agents to run advanced backup features. And with those agents, that's where we start talking about that complexity that I mentioned earlier in the 3 Cs, and also cost. And when you use those agents in the backup, they only back up the data inside the VM, not the full VM and wrapper. And restores can be more difficult and time-consuming with this application.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, what about application poachers? What can you tell us about what they do, and how do we compare and contrast application poachers with Veeam?
Well, these are another type of legacy backup, and they're very similar to what the dinosaurs do in that they also need agents to run their backups. However, this backup system is based on Microsoft Volume Shadow Copy snapshots as a base of how they actually run their backup. So it's a little bit different in that way, and it stores the backup on the local volume and copies it out. And what that means is that they can do an instant restore. However, it's only pulling from the local volume, and there can obviously be problems with that. And that if you are going to pull something off of that second copy, then you can have a resource-intensive restore in that case.
Okay, okay. And so now that's going to bring us up to replication racers. It sounds like this method must be really fast, but is there more to that story? What do we need to understand about this method, and what would the potential downside be for customers with a legacy replication racer?
Yeah, that's a good question. The replication racers are replication engines. It's not technically a backup. So, you know, if you're looking apples to apples, they're not technically direct competition with Veeam. However, they will come up in deals, and you'll have people asking questions about the differences between a replication engine and Veeam. One similarity to the other ones that we've been talking about is that they also need agents. But because it's a replication engine, they take 2 copies of everything, which means double the data and double the I/O. However, they can, like you said, they're fast. They can do near 0 RPO, and that's what they're going to sell on. However, this method is very expensive and takes a lot of resource, and most of the time, people will only use that for part of their data because of the expense, and not needing that near 0 RPO for all of their data.
Okay.
And there you go, yeah.
There you go. I was just trying to think through, you know, sometimes I get a little mixed up on the acronyms RPO and RTO. Would you just quickly go through RPO for us and tell us why customers look at that so closely?
Yeah, and bear with me for just a second. Restore point objective is what RPO, and that can be considered the inverse to restore time objective. And basically that means, you know, they need to be able to restore something immediately at any point in time. So that near 0 RPO, if you're talking about something like an Amazon.com or something like that, their data, they have to have 0 RPO because transactions are happening so quickly during the course of their business. And that's what I mean by, you know, only part of that data is probably going to need that 0 RPO, and that's what I have here with those 2 scenarios, is that for some of that they might need the 0 RPO, but then if you sell them Veeam, they bring in Veeam for the other data that doesn't need the 0 RPO, they can save some of that expense. The second scenario that you might be talking about is if they already have a second solution to do their backups, in which case the replication engine isn't even part of the conversation. That's something they're going to be using anyway, and your actual competition is whoever that second solution is that they use for their backups.
Gotcha. Okay, okay, that makes a lot of sense now to me, at least. Thank you for that explanation. So then I think the last method that you showed back on the original grid was the imagers. And imagers, these guys, hey, they're agentless, they're fast, They're affordable solutions that can leverage VMware, so wouldn't a customer using this method be good to go?
Well, there is one caveat to that. So yes, and Veeam does use image-based backup as well, but we're kind of setting Veeam aside here for a second for the point of this conversation. They do have a limited feature set. So with that agentless, ease of use, image-based backup, for the other competitors besides Veeam in this category, they can't do item-level recovery, file-level recovery, and instant VM recovery. So that's a pretty important difference there.
Okay, yeah, I would say so. All right. Well, Jennifer, thank you very much for arming us with the information. We need to find good opportunities for utilizing the Veeam Trade Up Program. And now we need to turn back to John Metzger. And John, if you're still with us, it's time to talk about this Trade Up Program and how it works and what our resellers need to know about taking advantage of it. So John, can you fill us in on the details of the program?
Sure. Yeah, and thank you. Appreciate you inviting us here today and letting us talk. The Trade Up Program. So what we're trying to do here is we know it's Q4. It's end of year. This also happens to be the time when lots of your customers, your prospects, are likely getting that renewal notice from their current backup vendor that's saying it's time to renew and the amount that they have due. And so this is likely when we know this is the time when the buyer, the purchaser, is taking a fresh look and deciding, do I want to renew, or is there another option out there for me? And so for all the reasons that you just heard Don and you and Jennifer go through, we are, the majority of the market today is over 60% virtualized, so virtualization is no longer a niche. It's actually the mainstay. So most environments are designed around virtualization. So the logic would go that they need a backup that is really designed for virtualization. So for all those reasons that Jennifer went through, Veeam is well positioned to help your customers get the most out of their backup in terms of recovery time, quality, effort, and time put into managing their backup, all the reasons that Jennifer went through, that powerful, easy to use, and affordable solution for them. So what we're doing here is we're offering a marketing campaign and an incentive to help you get your customers over to Veeam, to that backup that's built for their virtualized environment. We really think the target users are those end users who they've got that renewal notice, they're not happy with their existing solution, they are virtualized, and they're looking for a better solution. So we offer this trade-up campaign, which you can see here on the right-hand side of the slide. It's been running since October. It's going to go through Q1, and it's a great opportunity for you to be that trusted advisor, have that conversation with your customer, talk about how you can get them into a better backup solution that's built for their environment.
All right, that sounds good. I mean, there's nothing complicated there. How about this, though, John? Can you talk to us about the value proposition for customers and also what's in it for our resellers?
Yeah, and this is the important part. So the real value to the customer, and then of course to you. So the value to them at the core is that you're getting them into better backup for the price of their renewal, or in many cases it's hopefully less than what the cost of their renewal is. So if you can offer your prospect more capabilities, less complexity, all at a better cost than what their actual renewal is, hopefully you have them interested, you have them hooked. And then the value to them is that they're able to do it for their renewal cost. So they don't have to go back to their management, ask for additional budget. They're doing it for that budget that's already been approved, and you're able to get them to move to that better backup for that same cost. The other thing we are able to offer is that the distributors are offering 3-year financing or financing opportunities here. So if you have a customer that is looking for that, that's another opportunity to sweeten the pot. And because Veeam is designed to be very easy to use, those typical barriers that come into play when you're asking them to switch from some existing vendor that they might have to Veeam, you're able to knock those out of the way, right? It's easy to install and set up. There's no additional hidden fees or charges. As you heard from Jennifer, we don't deploy agents, so we're not charging for every agent that's on every machine. There's no additional administrative costs and effort that they have to incur for that. And everything's included in one license, so we don't have a whole series of add-ons to get to those features that you really need. So we remove those barriers to switching. So real clear benefits for the customer. From the partner side, for you, hopefully the benefits are things like you're talking to a customer, talk about the value of improving their backup. You get them interested. You get them to move over to a better backup solution for their environment, and so that helps you obviously meet your end of year goals, your end of year targets. You're also gaining market share in this space because you've moved a customer over into a backup sale. And hopefully that just means more money in your pocket this time of year, especially as you're moving towards Q4 end, because you had a sale that otherwise you may not have had.
All right. Well, listen, hey, I think I'm sold, John, but are there any restrictions, not so much fine print, but just anything else our resellers need to be aware of when they're working with the program?
Yeah, there's a few things to call out here, and the core of this is that aside from the financing through the distributor, there really is there's nothing sort of unique or special about this offer. We're not offering special pricing. This isn't a promotion in terms of discounts or deals there. It really is, our price is so competitive that we're able to offer our backup, the #1 backup in the virtualization space, for the same price as their competitive renewal. So the customer is able to upgrade at a very attractive price to begin with. So the key is that this is part of your typical conversations. If you're selling Veeam, if you're familiar with selling Veeam, there's nothing new or special you have to do here. You're just offering them the opportunity to consider Veeam at a time when they probably are looking at other backup vendors anyway, because they have that renewal notice that's waiting on their desk. We do provide the only caveats, and you can see that here in the notes section at the bottom, is that financing is only available on deals of $10,000 and above. That doesn't mean that Veeam's not available to deals at less than $10,000. You can still offer them that, but the financing is the part that's available at $10,000 or more. But as I mentioned, no special discounting. We do target some specific competitors, and you can see them in the list here at the bottom, but this is really open up to any customer that's interested in moving from their current vendor to Veeam, so the opportunity is wide open there. One thing I did want to show them, Don, is if there's a calculator that we make available on the web page. So if you there you go. So it's a very simple calculator. If you go to Veeam.com and you click on our Trade Up link, you'll see this calculator on the page, and it's very simple in terms of you ask a few questions, as you saw on that previous slide, and it'll give you there you go. You select your competitor, you select how their renewal is priced, and it will either be priced by sockets, host, or VMs, and then you put in the number of sockets, hosts, or VMs that were on the renewal and the cost, and then we give you that congratulations message that you see. If you scroll down there once, there you go. You get the congratulations message. And what this is meant to be is this is the lead capture opportunity, right? So we're telling the customer, hey, based off of the information you provided, congratulations. You can get into Veeam for the price of your renewal. Give us your contact information, and we'll contact you. And what we do then is, of course, provide that contact lead to our partners, and there's an opportunity for you to follow up and have that conversation.
That sounds really, really excellent, John. So I think we have it just about all covered then, except the last thing I'm thinking about is, are there any kind of sales tools or resources that are available anywhere that can help our resellers really execute well on this program?
Absolutely, yeah. We developed a couple key pieces that target both prospects and our tools that are available to you, our partner community. So here's a view of some of the prospect pieces that are out there. So we obviously have a landing page. We've been doing some e-card email mailings out to customers and to prospects, buying banners on web and through search. We've done a press release. There's social media. So a variety of different tools that we put out into the market to hopefully drive interest, drive leads, and they're all available out there as tools that you can certainly point your customers to if they're looking for more information, especially that landing page with that calculator that I showed, that we just showed you a minute ago. The next slide shows you some partner materials. Here you go, and this is the partner portal. And this is if you go to Veeam.com, go to the partner portal, all the information that you would need to help sell the customer using Trade Up, or to give them more information about the Trade Up campaign, is all here. So there's a cheat sheets, there's call scripts, there's a program guide overview of the program, and then there's a more detailed calculator, which I think we've got some information on here that we'll show you in a minute. Here's just a view of some of the materials and the pieces that I walked through. One other item I'll call out on this slide is that competitive quick reference cards. It's a very nice one-page front and back tool by competitor that compares Veeam to the competitor. You know, a great tool just for having by your desk, but it's a great resource when you're talking to a prospect that might be interested in, well, why Veeam versus, you know, whatever competitor you might be speaking to. And then on the partner portal is that the calculator. So the calculator, this is a more detailed calculator than the one that we showed you just a minute ago. And we ask you a few simple questions. So here you can see we ask what competitor is the customer currently using, and then what solution are they interested in from Veeam? Is it backup and replication? Is it our standard edition? What kind of support do they want, or maintenance do they want? Once they provide us that, then we ask them some more detail about the competitor itself. What have they bought from the competitor? So what's their renewal cost? How many VMs or hosts or sockets they select one of those? And then do they have any special agents that they purchase? And again, Veeam doesn't have agents, but our competitors do. And so we need to know what those agents are so that we can get an accurate cost of what their renewal is. So by asking your customer a few questions, you should get a good idea of what their costs are. And then on the last results tab, we give you an indication of, hey, success, congratulations, based on the information you provided, we can give you we can save you X percent. And in this example, we say 22% over your existing renewal cost. And then hopefully based off of that, you've got them, they're hooked, they provide you with confirm their contact information, and you're able to move on to quoting and the regular sales process at that point. So a nice detailed calculator that will give you some more information on the opportunity. This last piece here is just some key takeaways that we wanted to leave you with, and again, this is just that there's it's our normal offer, no special pricing here. There is financing available for those deals that are 10K and above, and otherwise, you sell Veeam as you typically would to take advantage of this promotion, and hopefully we're driving more leads your way.
That's absolutely what we're hoping for, and at this time, I wanted to just remind our audience that, you know, we've shared a lot of information about different backup methods, different ways the competition takes their approach to backing up virtualized environments. If you have any questions along those lines, you can feel free to enter them into the chat panel now or the Q&A panel. And then, of course, if you have any questions about working with the program, you can get those in as well. There's still time to enter those. In the meantime, Jennifer and John, I want to thank you for the really strong presentation today. I think we had a great discussion about why this program can be so valuable to both customers and to our resellers. I have one last request. Are there any last key takeaways for our resellers that you would like to leave them with at this time?
The only thing I would leave you with, Don, is just again on all of these, even the competitive materials as well as the Trade Up campaign. Feel free to contact us, the channel manager, or just visit the partner portal, and all that information is available to them. Competitive and this Trade Up information is available on the partner portal as well.
Okay. Well, I do see that we're starting to get some questions here, so let's do some questions. And for the audience, just indulge us as we go through these questions. Some of this information may be valuable to you as well, and then we have an Amex gift card to give away. So our first question, I'm not sure either Jennifer or John, you can answer this. But one of our resellers is saying they currently have a client that they are trying to switch over from vRanger, what do we need to know, either Veeam or the distributor, us at Lifeboat, what do we need to know to get that, to get a quote that's competitive with the renewal price for what they currently have? So what sort of information?
Yeah, I would take that one at a base. What would be useful is if you could get an understanding of what their renewal price is, and then depending on how the quote is provided, if it's by hosts, sockets, or VMs, that information will give you sort of the basic data that you need to understand what they're covering for their renewal price, and then what you can get from Veeam for that same price. And then that's where some of those calculators come into play. Either the more detailed calculator or even that simple calculator will give you a good indication of that. So for instance, if it's priced by socket, that's how we price our quotes. And from our price list, you could get a very good idea of what you can get them for Veeam with Veeam for that same price. So renewal costs and the number of sockets, VMs, or hosts, and that should be enough to get you a good idea of what you're able to do for their renewal price.
All right, thanks, John. This next question is an easy one. One of the audience members wants to know if we can get the presentation emailed, and yes, we will provide you the information that you've seen here, but I would also recommend that you do visit the Veeam Partner Portal, because you're going to get even better information from what John showed us up there as well. Now, the last question is, does DISTI-led financing cover both license and support requests, and does registration still apply? So let's take that last part first. John, I'm going to ask you that. Can deal registration be applied when using this program?
Yes, it can. So deal reg is still in play on that one. And then to the first part of the question, so the answer is yes in terms of maintenance or support. That is oftentimes that's included in we typically include that in our 1 year of lease of support, and then the analysis that you've seen in the calculators takes into account some level of future years of support. So yes, what I talked about in terms of the Trade Up program does take support into consideration.
All right, excellent, very good. Folks, we're going to go ahead and give away a $100 Amex gift card now to one lucky attendee. In the meantime, if you're thinking about what you've heard and you want to get another question in, please feel free to do so. But let's just see here who we have as a winner today. And it looks like the winner of the $100 Amex gift card today is Mabel Wong from Insight. So Mabel Wong, congratulations. Thank you for attending. Thank everybody for attending. But we will get you the $100 Amex gift card mailed out very soon. All right. So I'm not seeing any new questions at the moment. I'm going to move on to our traditional call to action then. But folks, you still can enter questions if you'd like as I go through this. So first and foremost, if you are not already a Veeam Pro partner, there's a link here on the screen that will show you where you can go to sign up as a Veeam Pro partner through Lifeboat. If you don't have time to jot down this link, don't worry about it. Just contact your Lifeboat sales rep. We'll be happy to get you started in the program. You saw a lot of great information from John regarding what's available on the Veeam Pro Partner Portal. But basically, all your campaign information is there. A call script is up there, the top 10 reasons to choose Veeam, cheat sheets, and much more. And finally, we, as always, recommend that you contact your Lifeboat sales rep. We have in excess of 20 VMSP certified Veeam sales professionals for backup and replication. We have, I think, 23 VMSP certified folks for management pack, and we offer a Veeam sales specialist. So if you need any kind of pricing help, pre-sales support, we're here for you every day. We know Veeam, and we're happy and eager to help you grow your business and help you to sell more Veeam. Okay then, I don't see anything in the question area, so Jennifer, any last thoughts for our resellers?
No, I'm just going to echo what John said about going to the partner portal. The quick reference cards for each competitor are out there that go through a more detailed comparison of features and benefits to Veeam. So those are all out there and ready for use.
All right. Well, listen, thank you, John. Thank you, Jennifer. You were outstanding. It was a pleasure to do this webcast today with you and to provide all this information for our audience. And for our audience, thank you so much for attending another great webinar with Veeam. We hope you found today's conversation valuable. Veeam is just truly a great company to partner with. They have a superb team. They're always there ready and willing and able to help grow your deals and grow your business. So I encourage you to take advantage of the Trade Up program. Remember that it does run through Q1. And with that, I'm just going to say thank you. It's our pleasure, as always, at Lifeboat Distribution to be a part of these events. We hope we will hear from each of you soon. So for now, for everyone at Lifeboat Distribution and at Veeam, thanks so much. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye now.